So a small introduction about Python here. So it is dynamic, interpreted, and high-level general purpose language. Of course, all languages are almost general purpose languages, whatever we use in real world, like Java. So what is the meaning of dynamic interpreted? Here, I have already created a demo.py file, and here I'm intentionally going to do a mistake here. So I will specify x equals 10. And remember, I'm not saying what is x, what is 10, nothing at all. I'm not saying, I'm not declaring any variable that is x, and y equals 20 and print x plus y. So that's it. So it's like I'm writing in notebook. Right click, execute it, execute it. So this is the meaning of dynamic. I have not declared x. I have not declared what is the type, or what is the value I'm assigning, and what is the type of the value I'm assigning to x. I did not specify anything, right? So it is automatically taking that value and then printing the value, printing the addition of x plus y. So what is the meaning of dynamic interpreted, right? So we'll see what is dynamic here. So I'm changing the type of the value of x from 10 to some other value. I'll say my name. So now print x. Execute. No error. Why? So it is dynamic. So dynamically typed. So before the value I have assigned is 10. At that time, before assigning value Sudhakar, before 8th line, the type of x, the type of x is going to be, execute, the type of x is going to be integer. Now, after this, I'm printing the same thing. Let us check what is the type. So at 6th line it is integer. That means before 8th line, that will be integer. But after 8th line, I've changed the value that becomes string. So this is what I'm telling you. Python is dynamically typed. So we will discuss about variables, all these things later. But for now, I'm just explaining you. Python is dynamic language, dynamically typed language, in fact. Dynamically typed language. So when it comes to the interpreter, what is the meaning of it? So every line gets interpreted while executing itself. When you go for compiler-based language, the file gets compiled, and then the compiler version of the file will be executed when you click on run button. So for Java, the compiled file will be, the dot class file. For Python, no other file gets created. It is interpreted. It is interpreted. What is the meaning of that? So I will use x dot hello. I'm using it. So there is no method with hello, and that too I'm applying on x. X is its string. There is nothing available. In other languages like Java, it will not execute this. It will not even start the execution. It is going to display compiler error, compilation error. But in Python, it doesn't show that kind of errors. So it is going to execute until 10th step. That means even the type of this will also gets displayed. Whatever got printed here, everything gets printed. And then finally at 12th line, you'll get an issue. At 12th line, you'll get an issue. Let's see. So here, everything got printed, right? And 12th line, the issue will be displayed in the top. So it shows line 12, and there is no attribute called string. So this is the issue what we received, right? So it throws an error. So right, that's the meaning of, Python is dynamically interpreted. And of course, it is high level. We are writing this language in English, right? So this is all pure English. So internally, it is going to be machine level language is going to be binary, but here we are writing in English language. And of course, it started, it's implemented in 1989 by Geda Van Rossum, and it's a successor to ABAC programming language. And there is Python 2 and there is Python 3, and Python 3 is incompatible with Python 2. That means it's not backward. That's why still Python 2 is going on, and also Python 3 is going on, and we don't need to worry about it. Python 3 actually released in 2008. It's been 12 years, so almost everyone upgraded to Python 3, and everyone starts with Python 3 nowadays. No need to worry about 2 version. And of course, it is open source. And also, one more thing, it is extensible. What is the meaning of it? Python actually created in C language, the default Python. So the term, remember the term default Python, that is created in C language. It's interesting that, there are different variants available in Python, right? The default Python is C language, but different by using different languages, Python is already implemented. Let's say this is Iron Python, right? Iron Python. This is by using .NET, and there is Jython. This is by using Java, right? So by default, Python comes up with so many built-in functions, modules, everything, and they've added some more with respect to Java, with respect to .NET, right? They've added some more features, some more functionalities, and then giving it as a different package, that is Iron Python or Jython, like that. But ultimately, the syntax is going to be the same, and you can happily use it. And the default Python is going to be based on C language, and we will be discussing the default Python. So this, I'm just explaining you. There are different implementations for Python because it is open source. And the default Python is created by using C language, but different implementations are there. You can see all these implementations in this URL. This is Python wiki URL. You can see that, right? Yeah. The next thing is here I've already mentioned. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So it is called C Python, and written in C language, like that, right? And so the next one, you can write Python programs in a separate file and then execute it. That is possible. You can write Python file in a separate file and then execute it. This is possible. There is one more thing. You can go to command line and Python. So here you can start executing. Let's say x equal 10, and then y equals 20, and then you can use print, or you can directly use x plus y. You can directly work with it. This is called REPL. Read eval print loop. This is there with Python from the beginning, but when it comes to Java, they've actually recently introduced like Java Shell. Even that is also available from Java 9, I think so, right? Java 9 or Java 11, yeah, that's available. It's like a copy kind of thing from Python, yes. You can practice in the same way in Java as well, but in Python they've introduced, right? So this is called a repair, and yes, this is what they're talking. So normal script mode means you can create .py files and then execute. Interactive mode means you can write program, you can write code here and then execute. This is for small or single line code kind of thing. You can use it, but if you wanted to create and maintain the program, edit the program after writing all these things, if you wanted to do that, then this is the best way, right? And next one. So what is the syntax we follow with the Python? Yes, Python is case sensitive, that you already know it. And no semicolons, nothing is required. You can happily use it. Even if you give semicolons, what will happen? Let's see. So I've given semicolon, right? and I'm running it, there is no error, right? So, but it is not required. And so if I'm using this one, this is a function. So print is a function, right? And this is a variable. So assignment will be done by using equals. So like other languages, double equals is for condition, right? Condition equals, something like that is there. We will discuss. And for now, what you have to remember is you don't need to use semicolons. And second thing, comments, you can write comments by using hash. And you can select multiple lines and then give comment. So control slash is the shortcut for giving the comments. Control slash is the shortcut for giving the comments, right? And also you can use colon for writing any blocks. For any block definition, you are going to use colons, block, right? So what is the meaning of blocks? Generally, we have if conditions or function blocks or something like that. In other languages, we use braces, flower braces, but in Python, we don't use that. So we will be managing that with the tab space and colon. So that's what we'll use. Let's say if you are using if condition, if, so you have to specify condition here, right? You have to specify condition and then colon. So here you need to write the block. Here you need to write the block. If you write in here, it is going to, it will display an error. No, you cannot write there. So you have to specify that, right? How you wanted to create it. You have to specify that, right? It should not be in the same vertical column. So that's what you have to remember. But generally, we'll go with tabs. Generally, we'll go with tabs. Even this will also will create the tabs. Remember. So now here, this is 4 space, right? 4 space tab. Remember that. So in Python, we will be using tabs when writing the blocks. And blocks, you write the block and then specify colon, and then after that you can specify. So if the block is empty, we will be using pass. So pass means the block is empty, we will use it. Okay, I'll fill that later. So that's the meaning of pass keyword. So pass is a keyword again, right? And square bracket, parenthesis, curly braces, you have many things, right? Like other languages, you have square brackets. So generally, in not just only in Python, you go for any language almost, square brackets are for arrays. So arrays. In Python, you call these things as lists, right? In Python, you call these things as lists. So by default, it is dynamic. If anyone knows VB scripting, and they can easily recollect how this works, because Python arrays like VB script arrays. Okay, you can recollect that. And the second thing, you have parenthesis. So this becomes the parenthesis. This is called parenthesis, right? So parenthesis is used for defining parameters in the functions, and then for calling functions, we will be using, we will use parentheses generally for that purpose, for grouping parameters, and for calling the functions, we'll be using parentheses. And you also have flower braces, and as I told you earlier, in Java or JavaScript or C#, any language, you use flower brace for defining blocks. But in Python, we use flower brace for defining sets, for defining dictionaries, like that, right? So that's what you have to remember. Got it? So curly braces are used for dictionaries and sets. You can understand that in future. And so generally, you use multi-line comment begin with triple quotes. And yes, I will discuss about this one. Because triple quotes are used to define multi-line strings as well. We'll see that, and when you are creating a function documentation also, we can observe how this will be created. But generally, if you are creating these kind of things, we'll simply go with a hash itself, okay, control slash and control slash. So uncommon comment, that's it, right? Uncommon comment. So you'll not find a shortcut here. And if you see 1, 2, 3, right, this becomes the right multi-line comment kind of thing, right? So whatever you write in between, that becomes the multi-line comment. Understood? So that's actually multi-line string as well. So we can discuss that later. So that's why I'm not considering that as a comment. Okay, that'll be a help kind of thing, right? Yep. So let us start with the Python variables concept. Okay, this is like we discussed about Python syntax and introduction, all these things. Yes.